Microsoft added 6 new dynamic array formulas to the latest version of Excel. Let's take a look and see how they work. Starting in January 2020, Excel for Office 365 includes dynamic array formulas. 6 new functions are available: unique, filter, sort, sort by, sequence, and Randarray. What makes these formulas special is that they spill multiple results into neighboring cells. This is a radical change for spreadsheets and why it's taken over 2 years for Microsoft to release them in public versions of Excel. Let me show you each of the 6 new functions. Number 1, unique. The unique function returns a list of unique values from a list or a range. So in this example, let's do the unique for this column of names. You'll see that it returns 7 names that are unique to this list. And it spilled the data over into multiple cells. You'll notice that the formula is in this first cell and it's grayed out in the remaining cells. That's how a spill function works. Unique also allows you to pick more than one column. So let's say we want the unique values from this list of 2 columns of data. And it returned the unique values for both the name and the region. The unique function has multiple parameters. First, you establish the array that you want to do unique values from. The second parameter is a true/false, whether you want rows or columns. So if you do a horizontal list, you can use columns. It defaults to false for rows. And the final parameter is exactly once. If you want just the unique values that occur only one time in the list, you can set that to true. And you'll see that these 3 names occur only one time in this list. It ignores the ones that are multiple. And that's the unique function. Number 2, filter. The filter function allows you to filter out data in a table based on criteria that you define. For example, let's say we want to filter this entire table where the region equals east. And it spills the data into multiple neighboring cells. We could choose other parameters, like where the units is greater than 15,000. And it filters out just that data. The filter function includes one additional parameter called ifEmpty. If that value is actually empty, we can say something else, like 0. So if we were to empty one of these values, it leaves that out of the filter. For a more detailed look at the filter function, take a look at my video called Return Multiple Results from an Excel Table with One Function. It covers the filter function in detail. Number 3, sort. The sort function sorts contents of a list or an array. You can do a simple sort by selecting a column, and it puts them in order. You can do a more complex sort by picking an entire array, and it defaults to sorting them in the same order by column 1, but it includes the other columns in the data as well. There are additional parameters, like the sort index, which just represents which column you want to sort by. So if we wanted to sort this list by the region, we can pick column 2. And now it's sorted on the region. The next parameter allows you to choose between ascending or descending order. And the last parameter is the column or row sort. If you have a horizontal list, that's when you'd want to use the column, but it defaults to false for the row. Number 4, sort by. The sort by function works very similar to sort, but instead of sorting it by a column number, you specify a range to sort. So for example, let's do a sort by of this entire range, but we'll select the region as the sort range, and it sorted that data by region. There's additional parameters. We can pick the sort order, and we can specify a second array for sort order. So let's do it by region, and then within that by units in ascending order. And now it's sorted by region and by units within that. One of the benefits of the sort by function is the array range that you're selecting for sorting does not have to be inside of the range you've selected. It can be a separate column somewhere else in your spreadsheet. Other than that, it's very similar to the sort function. Number 5, sequence. The sequence function allows you to generate a list of sequential numbers in an array. For example, let's do the sequence for 10 rows, 2 columns wide. We'll start with 10 and we'll do it by 5s. It generated a sequential list, and as you can see, it skips from one column to the next and then down the rows. It's a simple function to allow you to create a sequential list. And like the other dynamic array formulas, it spills across multiple columns and rows. Number 6, Randarray. The Randarray function returns an array of random numbers. So if we wanted to do a Randarray of 10 rows, 2 columns wide, between 10 and 100, and let's pick integer to start with, it gives us a series of numbers. One thing to note about Randarray, if you re-enter it, it randomizes those numbers again, so they're not fixed. You can also choose decimal instead of integer, and it returns a random array of decimal numbers. You can also combine dynamic array formulas. For example, let's say we pick the unique names from this list, and we want to turn around and sort that list alphabetically. Or how about we wanted to filter this list of names where the units are greater than 15,000, and then turn around and get the unique values from that list. Or how about we do a Randarray, 10 rows by 1 column, starting at 100, going to 500, and picking integers. But then we want to take that list and sort it. You can get creative and combine these as long as you stay within the parameters of each individual function. That's a look at the 6 functions available for dynamic array formulas. Remember, these are available in the January 2020 release of Office 365 Excel. If you're on a semi-annual channel update schedule, they are available starting July 2020. Hey, if you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click the thumbs up and leave a comment. I really do appreciate your support.